What is up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Jesus Conde, and today we're going to be doing the remaster of page 56 on my comic book Albdur, Tale of the Witch Queen. And yeah, we're gonna start by doing some sketching on the old drawings, and then just drawing on top of all of that to achieve this result for my comic. So let's get started. So right now what you see on the screen is I have the old drawings that I got from my webtoons that is already published for free. You can read it right now. It's free online. The links are in the description if you haven't read them. And now what I'm doing is trying just to make all the drawings a bit better. It could be in any way. In this case, for example, in just this frame, it's gonna be a whole lot of detail on background. I also needed a new scene, a new frame for a little bit more of internal dialogue on the character, so I added a new frame there, and then completing these other ones with a little bit of background, and I'm also going to change the faces of the characters. I do have the characters in 3D modeled previously from all my webtoon work, and so I'm gonna be taking advantage of that. It's usually really easy just to put this in, and I prefer to do it this way when I just grab a screenshot and just paste it there, because it's way easier to do that way. It's like more intuitive. Sometimes I do a small render in ZBrush to get a little bit of shadow, but most of the time it's not even necessary to do that. So to start on these drawings, as you can see, the sketches are not really that well done. It's just for me to get an idea of what the shapes are gonna be, rough shapes of things, and everything else is made on the spot. I don't really need to be like extremely perfect, especially on details like the necklace and stuff like that. I mean, as long as it's understandable of what it is. In this case, if you haven't read the comic, it's just little teeth of creatures that she have pulled out, because teeth are really important for them, for the fairies culture. So in this case, there's that, and I'm also here adding a little bit more of detail on the background. Everything is surrounding the scene. It's not really that important to the scene, but I mean, it doesn't look good when everything is detailed but the background. So I'm trying to have a balance of how much detail I put in on everywhere. Sometimes you just see that the image gets a little bit stuck. It's just because I'm usually like looking at something else on another screen, or looking for reference for something. And I have this brush that I created. I said it before in the last video. I have this little brush that it's made two lines at the same time, and it helps me a lot for creating like this shadow effect that I use, and it's really nice to at least be able to do that faster. I used to do it with this same brush, like just a normal brush, and it was kind of difficult to achieve that shadow effect, to look like perfect all the time. It was pretty difficult to make it look well. Mostly the first pages on this remaster kind of have that effect, like all the shadows done with the same brush. So there's gonna be a little bit difference, and towards the end you're gonna probably see drawings more like this one, where there's kind of like a balance of the overall quality. At the beginning, sometimes I will have these extremely detailed backgrounds for no reason, and sometimes I wish I will strike this balance before, because it really helps me with the speed of making the comic. Some person kind of noticed a few days ago about how a massive fan I was from Star Wars, and yeah, like this kind of structures, it's pretty much what the Genesis Star Wars arena looked like, just with a lot of mushrooms everywhere and stuff like that. And as you can see, I kind of try to fix some of the proportions, especially if I just don't like how it looks. I try to change that a little bit too. Few mistakes here and there, so it looks a bit better. Not that it's like extremely wrong or anything before, but I just want to retouch some of the drawings, all of them, for this remastered version of the comic. In the panel that I did before, in the 55, I added one new panel, and this one is also one new panel, and it's mostly, I think it's mostly gonna be like that. Sometimes I added even entire pages, but it's mostly just few more panels here and there to give me some more room. A lot of the webtoons had a very condensed quantity of text, because I went like way fast with the story on this first season, which is what the remastered version is gonna be all about, just the first season made in a book version. And man, sometimes it really does look like a lot of text crammed up in there without too much like a very roughly, and it sometimes doesn't look that good. So I needed some extra panels to achieve this, and because of narration, because of internal dialogue, whatever you want to call it. And yeah, it's been really rewarding to be able to retouch all these drawings. Some of them completely changed, and some of them is just a small touch up, but like in this case I changed the head, but I noticed like some other proportions were not that good either, so I started to change stuff in the body too. And yeah, I'm really liking the result on this project because of that, because of I'm able to retouch everything. It could seem like a little messy workflow, because I'm like back and forth, but because it's one page at a time, I think it's really well, like it's not that big of a deal. This one gave me a lot of trouble though. Just this whole panel, it's kind of difficult to work for some reason. It felt like challenging to find a good pose for Alexandria, and also opening her mouth to scream at the Nebras, and all of that, all of those details. Once you have more than one character, it usually takes a lot more time, just because of that, and it's kind of frustrating sometimes. I've had a scene when there's like 5 or 6 characters. Right now I'm working on season 2, and I will put videos about that too, about the process on those pages. And man, sometimes it's really challenging to just have so many characters in one scene, and I do have 3D models for all of them faces, and thank God I have that trick of making the layout of the scenes on V-Ray, on Gravity Sketch, which is in VR, because if it's not, I will be losing my mind doing this comic. And that's something I discovered pretty late, honestly. At the beginning I was trying to do everything in drawing, but I did the 3D references for me on 3ds Max, posing DAS models, which is fine, but it's way slower than what I can do on VR with these simple mannequins. So yeah, that workflow really helps me go faster with the planning of the chapters. Not that faster is better, but man, in terms of like webtoons, it gets kind of difficult to be able to release so many, like to have a consistency in how quick I put those chapters out. For example, here I had to erase a lot of things, so yeah, that's one is starting to be a little bit more difficult, because I'm like, what is wrong here? So I completed a little bit of her chest there, and I also needed to erase a lot of hair that was there. I put one of the legs up, so it will be like kind of on her back, on her buttocks, kind of a thing. And yeah, I was like, well, what is this now empty space here? What do I do there? And I just have to complete the Nebra's body behind Alexandria's there, which is like a totally different vibe of the first time I did this season. Not that everything has to make sense, to be honest. Like, people is gonna read this super fast. Sometimes I don't even see these things, but I wanted to feel okay with what I was doing, so I ended up taking a lot of time in this frame alone, just for that reason, and kind of just fixing things, erasing and drawing all the time. So it became a little bit annoying not being able to solve this frame faster. Then the second problem, I guess, is to shadow all of that from scratch. It seems like easy and fast to see it here, but man, it took a few minutes to do all those lines there. I haven't tried to have like a faster way of doing it. I can think of things how to make it, but I don't want it to lose that feel of being drawn by me. It's already been really not that personal because of the 3D sketches and all of that. People sometimes say, but you're just tracing stuff, and I'm like, yeah, but it's the stuff that I made. Well, like, what's the problem with that? And that's just my process. Like, it was the real problem, like, for doing that, you know. Some artists do stuff with assets and nobody complains, but if you're doing drawing, for some people have trouble with that. They want it to be like completely pure and purist, and I just don't see it that way. That's all. And man, it's already quite challenging just to make a comic book. Some of my chapters are around 80 or 100 drawings, so it's kind of I don't know, inconsiderate, let's say it that way, to think of what I'm doing as just tracing stuff. It's not just tracing stuff, I can promise you. And these are assets that I did have I have for trees, I have for mushrooms, I have for rocks, mountains, and I completely forgot I had these ones. I need to finish this faster, so I just, for some reason, remembered them and use them right there. So that's it, guys. Thank you very much for watching this video. I really hope you like this process of making my remaster of my comic book, and thank you very much for watching. If you want to read the webtoon, there's a link in the description, completely free. So yeah, check it out and let me know what you think. Have a good day.